you can never say never to some extraordinary offers. Welcome, everyone, to the Eddie and Jimmy podcast, our weekend predictors segment. I've got to get into management on this, but I'll get into that a little bit later. We'll have a look ahead of the weekend's games where I get cheated out of my football tips, of course. Make sure you find us on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Eddie and Jimmy. Thanks to Fiji Airways and Hyundai. Hyundai, you can do big things in the new Alexio. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. And Fiji Airways, visit FijiAirways.com to book your flights to Fiji and beyond. Fiji Airways, where happiness takes flight. Sam Docherty, back again. Great to have you.
Had a big month.
You had a big month.
It's good, though. It's good to be here. Good to talk to you. Talk to you now, talk to you later.
We're starting to take calls, too, on our consulting business, just keeping us up to date.
Did you get some overnight, did you?
We did. Joe Campbell is not only our producer, but he's our EA secretary as well, treasurer of the Doc and Jimmy consultancy business. More on that. So we might be soon guts up in Fiji with Eddie very shortly. Short, hold, or buy. I don't need to explain this to you because you know how to play this game. We'll bounce these back and forward. I'll do the first one. The following players will find a new home in 2027. The first one to you, Scott Pendlebury.
Short. Nah, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
If he wants to go on again, he'll be going on at the Pies.
Scott Pendlebury ever attempts to leave the Collingwood Football Club. One, Ed Maguire, who normally sits in this chair, will handcuff him to his own statue out the front of whatever sponsorship it's called, centre, which will be named in his honour, and he's never, ever, ever leaving. And even if he wants to leave, he's not allowed to leave.
I did see someone saying that clubs have approached him about the Sam Mitchell last year.
Yeah, approach all you like. Yeah, do it. Go.
It's not happening.
Go ahead. Eddie Maguire will headlock him for the rest of his life. Ben King.
Yeah, I'm buying that. I don't think he'll be there.
No, I'm buying that too. The fact he hasn't signed the extension, which I tend to follow, is a number of very good operators in the football media landscape, and Kel Toomey is one of the best. And he had quite a while ago it looking likely, but then that was about the midpoint of the year. But then it turned into
maybe not.
He's not signing.
Yeah, I think the deal was on the table, almost signed, and then I don't know. Maybe the eight losses in a row is starting to mount.
Yep, Bailey Humphrey.
Yeah, I'm buying that as well.
I'm buying that as well.
I don't think either of them are going to be there next year. And to our conversation that we had earlier in the week, if they don't want to be there, then I think you let them go.
Overanalyzing and overreading into things. His performances say that he's not going to be there.
No.
Jacob Wiedering.
I'm shorting it, so I think he'll be there. But a few teams should be picking up the phone and making sure they call to just double check. Because if you can get your hands on Jacob Wiedering, I'll be getting my hands on Jacob Wiedering.
I'll be holding it, but more leaning towards shorting because I think he's pretty committed to Carlton, and that's an outsider looking in. But you can never say never to some extraordinary offers.
Well, and this is the back to our consultancy business. Yes, if you're a club that needs a key defender and you look at Carlton and Carlton decide that they're going to go down a bit more of a rebuilding path, then is that your ticket where you can offer some juicy picks to help Carlton in their pursuit of what they want to do and then help your own backyard of key defender? Could be an option, but I don't think it's going to happen.
This one makes Ross the boss bristle every time he hears Rowan Marshall. He's contracted, mate. He's contracted.
He's contracted.
You journos, you make your own story up and then you just commentate on it.
Yeah, but I'm buying that he's not going to be there. Yeah. The two-pronged ruck attack, I think at the moment...
Mate, we're a better side with both a minute.
Yeah, but I think you're over-leveraged at the one position. So I think it makes sense for Rowan and it makes sense for St Kilda to go down that path. So for the logic in my brain, I think that I'm going to buy that one.
They're actually... I know they're the same discussion, but they're two smaller discussions. It's the Koning and Marshall, but it's also, as you said, it's investing... Let's call it $2.5 million into the ruck position.
In the ruck, yeah. It's not a full-time ruck, like one ruck. It's they're both going to play in there and you're splitting the role. So I think they'd be in a better position if they had one of them sold ruck and then spend that other $1 million or so on a potential another key forward or something of the like.
Take this for data. With Tom De Koning in the side, Rowan Marshall was rated well above 150. Without Tom De Koning, he's ranked number 6 in those AFL ratings.
Yeah, Royal Marshall's a very, very good player. And whatever team decides that they're going to try and chase him, and Geelong's always at the front of that discussion, I think it'd be a great...
He just played well down there.
It'd be a great move to get him to your footy club.
He's contracted, mate.
Yeah, he's contracted, mate.
This one's an easy one because we've got some reports today. Bobby Hill, shorting.
I'm shorting as well. I can't. He's not going to be at Collingwood.
Well, that's the report. So Collingwood looking to, and earlier this week, was it? Yeah, earlier this week, I reckon. And then follow up this morning, of course. Bobby Hill, Collingwood looking to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
On his contract.
Does he find a new home, or does he not play? That's the interesting discussion for me. Given how this has all played out at Collingwood over the year, and does another team take him on, or does he kind of just disappear? It's going to be an interesting watch.
I'll put these next two into one bracket, and we know there's different reasons, but I think the answer might be the same. Elijah Sardis and Zach Merritt.
Yeah, I think they're both out.
Yeah,
so both shorting. Is that that's the right terminology, aren't we?
So, funny enough, I know Zach Merritt's made it very clear, he wanted out. But does the new coach?
Well, this is the interesting. If whoever takes over that role, is there a world where they can convince Zach to stay? I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
So they actually get the opportunity to,
or has he just made his mind up and he wants to try and? Because there's a legitimate. In terms of success, he's not going to get premiership success at Essendon. It'd have to be one of the all-time turnarounds. Zach's probably 30, 31.
But he sees himself, he said it, playing, Pendles type years, like another 6 years plus.
But given where they're at, how many teams have you seen go from the start of a rebuild to a premiership in 5 years? I wouldn't have thought there's too many.
How long did it take Brisbane?
Brisbane? Long time.
Under Fagan.
Under Fagan?
I mean.
Yeah, maybe.
They went from like 5 wins in his first year.
Yeah, that to competing, because they were in finals for a long period of time. And
that's what I mean. Like, is Fagan's probably the most recent.
That's probably the fastest. But even before that, before Fagan took over, there was still another 4 or 5 years of hurt in the middle. So I think if success is the lever, then I think he's gone. But if it's being a one club player, legend Essendon, that stays, I think you can convince him of that argument. But I don't know where he stands in that. But I'm taking the logic side of, I feel like he's going to want out.
And Sardis, new coach might have a different opinion of him.
Yeah, he's one that the new coach might have an opinion on. And maybe he does stay. Maybe he does stay off the back of that. But going off his lack of opportunity and then inability to get in the side still under Solomon, I think he'd look for a new opportunity.
Darcy Wilson?
I'm short. I don't think you can let Darcy Wilson
go.
Can't. So I think you're paying him whatever you can to keep him.
Toby Green.
Yeah, I'm buying that he's gone.
Yeah, same. The more I hear him be evasive, I guess. And no, evasive's not the right word.
It's just not There's just not a lot of language around like the commitment to the club. He's
a pretty forthright, pretty forthright person normally in the media. The fact that he's not forthright about staying.
Yeah, I think regardless, I think that the thought process is happening over this. There's a world that he stays. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's really contemplating what his move is and what the final chapter of his career is. And the fact that he hasn't ruled anything out, I think that we're far enough through the year that if you're the captain of the football club and you were staying, you would have signed on by now.
Yeah. Tyson Stengel.
I'm shorting that. He's another one that just how up and down this process has been in the background. And again, we don't know all of the details with the personal reasons around his season. But if I'm another club, I'm just not touching it. So I think it's either he's at Geelong or he's not on a list.
Mitch Lewis is a fascinating one.
Yeah, given that I'm saying that Ben King's going and Ben King's most likely destination is Hawthorn at this stage, you'd think. I think it's probably tied to that. If they get Ben King, I don't think Mitch Lewis will be there. But if they miss on Ben King, then I think he stays.
Yeah, because you just go by looking at their tall timber. So I'm just writing them down and I'll get it. And I've added the 2 rucks in as well, which they like to play. You got Chol, Deer, Schubert's a young key forward who's actually doing some good stuff in the VFL and is a high pick. McCabe has played as a key forward. Meek, Reeves, and I'm forgetting Ramsden is another one. Hawthorn Boy, am I missing any?
I think you've got them all.
And that's playing as a tall side, not going. And then, of course, Gunston's always the wild card, but I don't sort of group him in that because Jack Gunston can play any forward role, really, and is just a little bit smaller, not in his impact goes, but just in height-wise. But that means, and that's without including Lewis. And if you add King, that's a lot of big boys.
That's a big boy room.
Yeah, it's a big boy room. So you'd assume one would spill.
I think someone spills. In honest, I think one of Lewis or Deer probably spills regardless, just with the amount of talent there. If you add King in, then one of them definitely goes.
Ollie Lord's a fascinating one for me. I think he kicked 4 against the Cats in a final. Definitely got aggression, got talent, had some injuries, of course. Whether he stays or is it off the back of what Georgiades eventually does? Does he stay? Does he look for opportunities elsewhere? He'd be an interesting prospect for another club.
Yeah, I'm definitely holding on that. If I'm short in key forwards, he's one of the names that I'm ringing up. He's probably not on the top echelon of the King, and then you got the Lewis sort of off the back of that. But he's one that if you're looking for a low cost forward option that can play a role, definitely even from a Carlton, this is my Carlton perspective. If they're looking for another tall forward, he'd be a low cost guy to be able to go and get.
Tall forward, pinch hit, second ruck sort of stuff. That was, of course, short holding or buying. Now, are you in or out on the following statements? Fremantle has the best forward line in the comp, and it's not even close.
Not even close.
That's a little disclaimer there.
That's the disclaimer.
Yeah, that's a little asterisk.
I'm in on that they've got the best forward line in the comp. I don't think it's that much higher than Hawthorn's.
Even Brisbane's is pretty lively.
Both, yeah. But I think they've got the best.
Yeah, so I'm out because he gave us a little out there, Joe King.
A little not even close.
Not even close. Thank you very much.
I think key forwards wise, brilliant, and then high talent half forwards that are difference makers in Bolton, Murphy Reid, and then they've got the workhorses in Sukowski and Frederick. I think it's the most balanced forward line group, and they work really well together. So I'm going to give them the tick as the best, but not by a long margin.
Yeah. No one in the history of the AFL has ever worked harder for a goal than Tom Lynch did for his goal 500 in or out. In. The poor bloke just couldn't get it. He just kept smacking into the posts and then free kicks against, or he'd miss what were normally gettable shots. So that's definitely in. But congratulations to
big
Tom Lynch.
500's not easy to do, so well done.
And as Steve Brack said, congratulations. Well done to Tom Lynch. The AFL should follow FIFA's example and have a third place playoff each year, in or out. Out.
Or you can tell how much they cared about it. It was 4-6.
But do you know what would make that exciting? Really, really simple change. Third place, automatic qualification for next World Cup.
There you go. That's interesting.
Top 3 automatically qualify. But imagine third place, you're playing for automatic qualification. Completely changes your next 3.5 years prepping for the World Cup.
So in AFL terms, what does that mean?
Nothing. But I'm just saying for World Cup, you imagine the third place game. Now that's got
something behind it.
That's got something behind it.
They played that third place game like they'd been out in the source for a little while, and no one could be bothered defending.
They're playing for Golden Boot.
Yeah.
And things like that. So which Mbappe ended up getting with 8 goals as well. Billy Frampton will make the All-Australian squad, in or out?
I'm in on this one.
I reckon he'll make the squad.
Yeah, I don't think he'll make the team, but I hope he gets some recognition for how good he's been this year.
He's got that balance right, doesn't he? Mark, intercept, spoil.
And just rarely beaten. He's had a terrific year.
He's actually a good kick of the footy too.
Yeah, really good.
He got a bit of a thumping kick, big bill.
And then you go importance of team, Collingwood have been outstanding defensively. He's the key pillar of it.
Yeah, if you can anchor your key back, it goes a long way. The Tassie Devils will not be an attractive destination for players, in or out.
Oh, we spoke about this one. I'm out on it. I think it's a terrific spot to go play
for the right people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like your golf, fresh air,
bit of red wine.
You like swirling the Merlot,
I do like swirling it down there.
Get up the nozzies, the Merlot.
Get down to Mona.
Mona is good. It's an hour to Melbourne.
It's not far.
Yeah, it's not far. And purchasing power, if you're on a big fat AFL contract, pick yourself a nice place.
Nice pad.
Nice pad down there. So I'm out on that one. We'll keep these going. Of course, The D's will win a final this year, in or out.
I'm in on that.
Goodies.
Yeah, I think they're playing terrific footy.
I think the Demons, the way they play their footy, they're going to keep asking you questions.
Yeah.
Especially your defence. Now, they play the transition game really well. They're going to keep challenging you scoreboard-wise.
And if they play in Melbourne, they play at the MCG and they're outstanding there. So that's another tick for me.
The Chad Warner will win Mark and Goal of the Year, in or out.
I'm out.
He'll have a crack. He'll have a crack. He's exciting, but just out on that one. The Hawks don't need Ben King, in or out.
I'm in on this. I think he'll end up there, but I don't think they desperately need him.
They don't desperately need him.
No, I don't think he is the massive needle mover that they need. I think that Zach Merritt, if they get Zach Merritt, he's a difference maker for their midfield. So I think I'd be back into the strategy of list. I think different assets for different groups. I think if they can get a high-end midfield talent that suits their game, outside player, I think he'd be more important than Ben King.
What about you, Hawks boy?
I'd rather keep Mitch Lewis.
You'd rather keep Mitch Lewis. All right, that's great, because our next question is, if Mitch Lewis stays, does Kel Shadir go? I think that's under the assumption Ben King comes in.
Yeah. In. I think
one spills.
One spills, yeah.
Sam Durham must be captain of Essendon next year, in or out?
I'm out on that.
Must.
Yeah, I just...
so if Zach Merritt's not captain, who's captain?
Well, I think Andy McGrath stays captain. I think going through this year, a coach sacking, it's been very hard. It's a very hard environment to lead at the best of times, and I think he's handled himself reasonably well. If you're going to pure leadership on the ground, that's only a certain portion of the job. There's a reason why they chose Andy McGrath as captain. I think that he probably stays there.
Maybe co-captains next year.
Yeah, potentially.
Or the new coach might come in and just pick someone completely different.
Who knows?
Nathan Buckley will become a head coach again in his career, in or out. I think we discussed this earlier in the week. I'm just curious to what he does next year.
Yeah, it's probably once he puts his cards on the table. If he wants to head coach, I can see a path to him doing it.
Yeah,
I could equally see a path where he goes, well, I don't think coaching's it, and I want to go back in the media.
Yeah, I was only to do it for Tassie.
Yeah, so watch on this one. I'm not going to rule anything in or out there.
Essendon should wear gold numbers every week now that they've won, and when wearing them, in or out? Out. It's for a fantastic cause.
It was.
But out.
It's like wearing that lucky pair of jocks from in junior footy. That you
played. Do you have a lucky pair, did you?
No, I didn't, but I know players that have worn the lucky pair of jocks.
Yeah. Kane Corns is right. Jamara's move to the Gold Coast has been a failed experiment, in or out?
I'm in on it at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
I don't think there's anything to point that it's been a success because he's hardly played. He hasn't at senior level, hasn't had significant impact on the team. The team's also losing, so not that that's Jamara's fault, but you would have thought that he would have had an opportunity to play up there more regularly and had more impact. So at the moment, I'm in on that being failed.
All right. We compete against each other each week to predict the winners and margins of each game in the round ahead. So what I've actually discovered, there is just blatant cheating. I'm not even going to say allegedly. It is 100% cheating going on. Eddie's got to someone at Channel 9 because when I put my tips in here, supposedly I was only ahead by one last week. But then when I looked on the World Wide Webs, I've been noticing I've been going backwards. So I've actually had numbers being subtracted of my footy tips. So that's how I've all of a sudden gone from being in front by 5, and then I was in front by 1, and then in the space of 24 hours, I'd gone backwards by another one. So I'm putting it down to Joe Campbell and his crew out the back. I don't care if there's defamation cases coming my way, but borderline cheat.
Is this toys out the cot?
No, it
just looks like toys out the cot.
I'm just calling for a royal commission, that's all. Into it. Of course, I might need to get Nick McKenzie onto it. It's called Tipping Bad. There's going to be a whole series as well. I'm going to get all the cast and crew involved. So it's been a disgrace. I'm not apologising at all for all these accusations. Let's get into it because they'll get changed anyway on my behalf, so Ed can get back into it. I know Ed's going to take Collingwood. They play some cracking games, Adelaide and Collingwood, 7:30 p.m, Adelaide Oval. Been some belters, of course, Adelaide and Collingwood at the Adelaide Oval, some controversial ones as well. I'm with you. I like what the Crows are doing. The challenge, I still think, Fog missing. Crows, 3 points.
Ooh. Yeah, two really good defences against each other. Two teams that love the pressure side of the game on a skinny ground. It's going to be a dour affair, to say the least. But I'm backing in the Crows by 13.
This is going to be a difficult one. Again, the thing nobody asked for is a double header on Friday, but we get it again, supposedly because that's what we want. Melbourne versus Geelong is the first game at 7:40 p.m. at the MCG. D's or the Cats?
D's for me. Yeah.
No Disco Turner?
Yeah, but there's not that many tall forwards. I suppose Jay Polkion did play really, really well, and Shannon Neal, but no, I think the D's might just be a bit too strong on the outside of the game.
Yeah, and of course Max Gawn, if Rowan Marshall had his way against Geelong, I'm tipping Max Gawn's going to have his way.
He might have a fair day at the office.
This is tough.
Do I need to go margin as well? 15 points.
Yeah.
Melbourne.
This is tough. Melbourne by 1 point.
Wow.
MCG. That's the only reason.
Friday night, slippery conditions. It probably will be close.
Freo versus West Coast, the other game on Friday night. I can't believe that they actually got a derby as an overlapping game on a Friday night. It's disrespectful.
I don't think we need to keep getting into the schedule. We seem to complain about it every week.
The stupidity you walk past is the stupidity you accept. Isn't that the saying?
Yeah,
I might have added an extra word.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's normally standard, but
you can take it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like it, but I'll take Freo by 48.
Freo by 22 points. Carlton versus Gold Coast in the early slot, 1:05 p.m. at Marvelous Stadium.
That's nice and early. I'll take the Blues by 10.
Yeah, I'm going the Blues by 17 points.
Gold Coast need to win though. Eight straight losses.
Well, at what point did you think they need to win? Was it after?
Well, I've been saying this for probably the last 5 games, but we're now at 8.
Yeah, they're in the zero trust factor.
If you get into a 10 game losing streak, that's bells are ringing everywhere.
Yep. Hawthorn versus Essendon. Of course, we'll get the whole series of line in the sand games. Yep. How much Hawthorn hate Essendon, Essendon hate Hawthorn, Dermy hates Essendon, all that sort of stuff. But they might be still drinking piss, Essendon, after having their win. At least there's been no arrests this week, like the olden days. The Hawks.
Yeah, Hawks by 10 goals.
Yeah, Hawks.
I am looking forward to all the highlights pre-game of all the old line in the sands.
Yeah. Of course, Matthew Lloyd, Campbell Brown, all that sort of stuff. It's always enjoyable to relive that. The Battle of the Bridge, which hasn't really been a battle in recent times. The Swans have had the Giants measure. This is 4:35 p.m. at Ingy Stadium.
Well, the Giants need to win to keep their season alive. Really, if they drop this one, it's going to be really, really tough. As you said, it hasn't been much of a contest though. But Swans also on that. So just while we're on the game, Swans on a little, I don't know, skid mark on their season as well.
No one likes skiddies.
No one likes skiddies. They need to get one on the board as well. But I'll take them by 8 points.
Well, because it's a top 6 side, we're going to get the best of the Giants. Sydney, they've got to be a little bit careful too, because the last quarters in particular and toughness around the ball. I'm not saying Sydney are soft at all, but sides been able to get them with that inside grunt and then get territory and then put score, of course. Freo's last quarter was exceptional. Adelaide's last quarter was exceptional. Good sides are able to take away that forward handball. You go, what else you got? And they just haven't been able to find a way. But Sydney like playing the Giants, and I'm going to go the Swans because they're more reliable than the Giants. Swans by 17 points.
Okay.
Western Bulldogs versus Richmond, 7:40 Marvel Stadium Saturday.
Yeah, well, I'm not tipping Richmond for the rest of the year, so I'll take the Dogs by a decent margin, 45 points.
Give me Marcus Bontempelli's stat line. It's not going to be 40 because he's not a 40 getter, but he stuffs the stat sheet of everything.
He'll get the Sacramento 3 and 30.
Yeah, so like a Sacramento. That's for the Bont. Bulldogs by 42 points. Brisbane versus Port Adelaide at the Gabatoir at 1:10 on Sunday.
I think Port will be plucky, as they always are, but I think that the class of Brisbane will show out in the end. I think they'll win by a couple of goals.
Lions shop early to avoid the rush, 31 points. North Melbourne versus St Kilda. Ooh, a tasty game. 3:15. They both like Marvel Stadium.
Well, between the Carlton Gold Coast game, the North and St Kilda, there's going to be a couple of teams with nails in the coffins for their season in these ones. So North, this will probably be the last. If
loser goes home.
I think loser goes home for those teams that lose these ones. So in saying that, I'm going to take the Saints by 3 goals.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints by 8 points in that one. Hey, Doc, appreciate all your work, energy, and effort that you bring to the Eddie and Jimmy podcast. Hopefully, we have you back soon.
No worries. Thanks, Jim.
We'll talk to you all Monday. Make sure you follow the Eddie and Jimmy podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Find us on Instagram and YouTube. Just make sure you search Eddie and Jimmy. Thanks for that.